All right, so this is new. I actually went 5-0 twice today, and mainly it's because I don't have much else going on today except Magic. So, with more time to play, I guess it's more time to win. I did take most of yesterday off anyway, so I suppose I'm making up for lost time. Um, I uh, I didn't make any changes from the previous videos. If you haven't seen the previous video, it is currently being uploaded, but it is going very, very slow going. So these videos will come out as soon as I can get them onto the internet. Meanwhile, yeah, literally no changes. So I went 5-0, and then I went 4-5, 4-5, and 5-0 again with the same exact list. So I'm very happy with it. Although I don't know how happy very happy actually is because there are a few slots that I'm kind of iffy about. Mainly Shackles, funny enough. I'm not quite sure how I feel about Shackles. It's such a good card. I mean, it's such a good card, but it might be better off as like Liliana, for example. I don't really know. So anyway, but if I keep getting wins, I guess I'll just leave the configuration as is. It hasn't really come up in my game, so I don't really have like a way to gauge it other than past performance. But just looking at the construction of the deck, I'm just not sure that it necessarily belongs in here. So anyway, 4 trophies now, kind of up in the top echelons other than the dots, Mr. Insano over there. Other than him, I'm pushing for the second place slot, which is a mile behind 12 wins, but that'll work. I think I'll try playing some more tonight, actually. Maybe we can get 5 or 6. That would be ambitious but cool. Anyway, so for this one, let's check out how it went. And I, so first round is against Baral. Oh, sorry. Brawl is just so boring. All right, first turn expedition map. But that's okay. I don't mind it too much, I guess, because we have the deck has been built so very like specifically to deal with the decks of the age right now. I thought I had a great start, and then my opponent exiles into the Royal and Call to Mind in order to commandeer my Izzet Signet. So I thought he might just blow me out right here. And then I try a Vampiric Tutor on his turn to go get land and or during my upkeep rather to go get some land, and my opponent counterspells that as well with a negate, discarding Arcane Denial. Then on his turn he plays Rise from the Tides. That is not Emrakul, and I'm holding Supreme Verdict, so I was so happy to see that. So I actually Enlightened Tutor for a Chrome Mox, imprinting Impulse. Since I have everything I want in my hand, I just need to get it onto the table. My opponent's down to only one card in hand, which is pretty nice. Here's where I do think that probably banning the Delve cards did a good thing. First of all, Vial Smasher was out of control with the Delve cards, and secondly, Baral was as well. So I'm going to try to clear the board before. I don't want to take any chances here. My opponent reveals Snow-Covered Island, so he's now got 2 cards in hand. One of them's a land, one of them's a mystery card. So he plays the land, and so he has 2 mystery cards in hand. So now that the board's clear, let's play an uncounterable Breya. Okay, so good things are happening. Opponent scrying sheets, and I believe he hits again. Yeah, he does. It's very painful. It's good tech, though. I like scrying sheets in the deck because in the blue on blue matches, it's going to matter. So he plays Order of Succession. I've seen this multiple times. It's actually a really good control magic that will actually take Baral. But I have Jace and it sticks. So I bounce Breya thinking that he's just going to sack an artifact and kill it. Sack Breya and the Izzet Signet. But he trick binds, which is weird. So I'm just going to, okay. So, I mean, it's postponing what seems to be the inevitable, but who knows. And then he taps really low, playing Baral, and activates Scrying Sheets for some odd reason. I don't know what he was doing here, and I think he realized he screwed up, because now I can just bounce Breya, recast it, uncounterable, and then kill Baral. So I think he realized how badly he screwed that turn up right there, and with that, he just gave up. So that certainly wasn't going great. You know, it wasn't the position I wanted to be in. But Blue Mage with only 1 card in hand is never a bad thing when you're on the other side of the table either. So, and luckily, I think, you know, that screw up was He's probably right. It was probably unrecoverable. All right, so game two, I'm playing something totally different. Omnath. I haven't seen Omnath in like probably years. All right, so I go first turn, Hallowed Fountain into Enlightened Tutor. I'm going first. Second turn, so I'm going to go get Winter Orb. Omnath is a big mana green deck, so I'm going to make that a challenge for them. He's got turn two Sylvan, which is normally backbreaking, but I let my opponent put Sylvan on the stack, and then I had Notion Thief. Now, if my opponent clicked always yes, he might have, because I just drew two cards and he had to pay 4 life to keep his draw phase. That's how that works. Gnarly. All right, so let's get that Winter Orb down. I drew a Jeweled Amulet. That's fine. Opponent's got a Llanowar Elf, so he's able to work around the orb a little bit. He's loaming over there, which is kind of strange. Under Winter Orb, it's a little iffy. But I'm going to get Breya down, and very soon I hope to kill that Llanowar Elf. I do not. So in fact, I decided to do it now. I just sack one of the flyers and the Jeweled Amulet. I don't sack the other flyer. Maybe I should have gone flyer. But the reason I didn't was because I was thinking that I wanted to pressure his life total with the Sylvan over there. So I don't know how much it matters. But the reason, and if you notice I had an attack with Notion Thief, he had an untapped fetch land. So a fetch land will go get, I'll go get Arbor, Dryad Arbor. And that means I could have attacked my Notion Thief right into death. I was definitely not willing to make that trade at that point. And the bad thing here, so the good thing is I'm holding as a backup plan land tax rat combo. I'm going to go ahead and get the tax down now and leave 2 mana up so I can activate Breya. The bad thing is I haven't found a counter this entire game. I'm trying to win this game without counters. My opponent plays Seedborn and tries to kill my Dimer, totally sequencing that exactly backwards. He should have just killed Dimer, cleared his attack step, and then played his Seedborn. And I win again against another opponent who makes a mistake. So this is maybe not maybe not something to crow about, but on the other hand, one of the goals should be for us as players not to make mistakes, and a secondary goal or tertiary goal is that we ought to be able to capitalize on our opponent's mistakes. So I was able to do so there. And here I am playing, and I read my opponent's commander as Baral, not Breya. So I'm sequencing my early turns. I wouldn't have made any difference against Breya here, but I might have actually played the Talisman into Preordain, but it's Breya, so I guess maybe this is right. Look at my opponent's insane start, though. Mox, Crucible fetch off of fetch land. Oh my goodness! And I drew thanks to Dark Confidant. So let's get rid of that Supreme Verdict, because I don't plan to verdict away my I don't Dark Confidant, and I want to dig for business. There's business. I actually decide not to take a land drop here when I could have. I could have taken a land drop, but I actually tucked the land because I'm looking for more action spells, and I'll use land tax to make up for it. Plus, look what's about to happen. Dark Confidant's going and everything else. All right, Narset, it's just getting really bad for me. But I have exactly enough mana to play Tax Rack, Breya, and all that good stuff. But I leave 2 mana untapped rather than playing Scroll Rack, so that if he does what he just did, cast his Breya in response to the birds coming into play, I can kill his Breya. All right, so this is a big turn. Draw 7. So let's draw 3 from land tax, 3 from Ancestral, 1 from Dark Confidant, 1 from the draw phase. Draw 8 cards this turn. Should be enough to get me back in the game. Oh, he stifles the Ancestral. Ouch. So I only got to draw 5 cards. Not complaining, though. And I need to get Narset. I feel like killing Narset's more important than getting Scroll Rack going or Palace Jailer. So I go ahead and Mystical for Cryptic, and then I tap his birds and bounce his Chrome Mox, trying to cost him card advantage. And the Chrome Mox, he replays it, imprinting a mana leak. So it actually, I was quite happy to see that. And then he vindicates away my Dark Confidant, which I was not particularly happy to see, but so be it. Okay, taking a lot of damage with this Ancient Tomb. I go Scroll Rack. Hold on, let's pause it. So I go Scroll Rack, and he has Pact of Negation, and my hand is kind of running out of gas. Like Scroll Rack was going to be my big like windmill slam win the game play. So I attack just to see what's going to happen. And then I kind of, I don't want to call it a desperation ponder, but it is a like, can I please find Winter Orb or something? Nope. Well, I'm definitely not keeping those three anyway. Ravages of War! Ponder to the rescue. Winning games, man. Holy smokes. Boom. And down he goes. And I did do that incorrectly. So if you're watching, that was a major screw up on my part, I think. Let me check his graveyard. Yes, indeed it was. So the correct play for me there was play a land, cast Armageddon, knowing full well I'm going to lose my land. And the reason is he had 1 mana untapped. And with 1 mana, he could play Spell Pierce. And who cares if I lose an extra land when I'm going to win the game? So that was a major screw up on my part. Luckily, he didn't have Pierce, and I didn't get punished for it. Maybe his land was Scrubland, and maybe that's why I did it that way. Actually, I think that's what was going on. His last land was Scrubland, so that must be why I did it. I guess it wasn't as bad as it could have been. But if he had a blue untapped, then definitely playing a land first was correct, and I misplayed. But fortunately, just a moment ago, talking about how it's important not to misplay. Fortunately, I was not punished for it, but unlike my other 2 opponents. All right, Robot BC, a robot from the past, is playing File Smasher, Crom. God, I just really, man, the same commander suite over and over is just so rough. I don't know. It's funny. I don't mind playing against Breya. I like playing Breya. I don't even mind playing against Mono Blue or any of that. I guess I don't really mind any of it just because we're kind of designed to beat these decks, but oh man, Vial Smasher round after round. So I go for Crucible here, and he's got a Daze, and he's able to pay the iron price for that. So I'll have to just pick up a land and say go. And he's got Mox, and I'm worried he's going to play his big flyer here. Not super worried though, because I've got Treachery, and this is a sweet turn. So I could actually blow up lands here, but he's got a Mox, and I don't really like the parity. Plus, I've got Factor Fiction and Cryptic Command. Like, I want to cast spells now. I've got Vial Smasher. Here, see how you like it, buddy. Him to Torok. Why don't you eat 4 damage? So think about it, and I thought about depriving here, and I got greedy. I went for Cryptic Command, and if I had deprived, he could not have evasive actioned. And he nails Deprive Armageddon. So much for that plan. I could play Jailer here, but I decide, actually, since I'm pressuring his life total, let's really up the pressure. So I could play Jailer and start drawing 2 cards per turn, but oh, I'm missing a white. That's the other issue. So I suppose I could have played Factor Fictions. Anyway, he plays his commander, and I always forget about this stupid commander who draws cards when you play your second spell. Why does it do that? I don't know, but man, I forget about it every time. So I'm trying to protect Vial Smasher because it's just doing some serious work on his life total over there. And right here I had a really tough choice: Factor Fiction, Jailer, or just recast my commander. And I thought, well, I'm just gonna wait. And he goes for Snapcaster. So in response, I fact, which domes him for another 4. He splits it up like this, and I take the Scroll Rack pile with Force of Will, even though I don't have a blue card, unfortunately. And then so he's able to Snapcaster and terminate his Vial Smasher. But his Vial Smasher now costs, 5 mana, and also it's done tremendous, absurd amounts of damage. Like, the card is so stupid and unfair. Anyway, so I've got Deluge, but I decide I'm going to lead off with Scroll Rack and see if he counters first. And I rack for 1, hoping to find a blue card. And I get Swords. So, I'm just going to go for it. He's low on cards, and it sticks. So now if he wants to tap out for it, oh well, so much for Force of Will. But I've got Deluge as a follow-up, and more importantly, I've hidden the Palace Jailer. So if he were to cast his commander here, I'm going to break him off pretty hard. But because I'm pressuring and I don't really have a reason to try to Deluge or Jailer, I just go Breya. And it's very fortunate I do, because he Notion Thieves, And if I had played Jailer, he would have started drawing cards, and that would have been pretty gnarly. So here he goes for a big tainted pact, and early on he hits both Island and Snow-Covered Island, which ends up being pretty key. And then he pushes through all these removal spells. So he must be going for like a mass removal, is the only thing I can really fathom here. And stop. Snow-Covered Island. He hit both of his basic land types. If you're going to play Pact, in my opinion, you need to run one Snow-Covered Island and one regular island and no other duplicates at all. Just find a way to do that, I think. But I'll take it. He just scoops. After that, he just tainted pacted for nothing. Exiled all these cards and got nothing. So, works for me. He went for, he did like I did on the Hymn to Torok turn. He went for Max Greed. Man, Hymn to Torok is so lame. That's a card I might need to run because it's just so horrendous to be on the receiving side of the hymn. Anyway, and for my final opponent, a guy took Carador all the way to the finals. This is super cool. Even more cool, I won the dice roll. All right, so my opponent leads off with a Chrome Mox imprinting a Sun Titan, casts Mulch, and it looks like he's playing Reanimator, clearly, unless that's just happens to be. But man, Sun Titan and Animate Dead in his deck, it looks, and Revile Arc, it looks pretty much like Reanimator. I'm going to risk, though, that he doesn't have any way to punish me for tapping out once, and then my game plan is never do it again. At least not on, not in, in the middle of my turn's fine, but at the end of it, when he starts his turn, I want to be able to counter. And it's a good thing, too. So I leaked that. I didn't use the map to play a land. All right, well, surely I'll find land. Well, apparently not. I can't sack the map anyway because it'll turn the opal off. So I'm going to Imperial Seal, Ponder into Winter Orb. Since I know he's got Academy Rector on top. He's got 3 mana already, so I've got to watch out. I did get a Talisman off the top that I put there, but I can't even afford to play it. Oh, because it doesn't make blue. And I know Rector's coming to the party, so we've got to get rid of that. I could deprive here. It wouldn't be the worst, but I'm vainly hoping that I'm going to find land. Dark Confidence doing a tremendous amount of damage to me, actually, this game, because I haven't hit any lands at all. So I'm going to have to force myself to get land drops by using mapping into Chancery. And then I Stoic Rebuttal the Elves, hit a Felwar Stone with the Confidant at 12. It's actually ticking down pretty hard, but with the Force of Will in my hand, and him mostly tapped out, it's pretty safe to play Breya here. And Dark Confidant's actually done a ton of damage to him as well. So I finally hit a land there, and when I take my opponent down to 9, I vindicate his Chrome Mox and pass. I actually had enough mana to just sack, and do a full 9 damage, but I wasn't quite sure what he might be able to do, and I felt certain that if I vindicated his Mox, the answer would be a definite nothing. Not through a Force of Will, exiling Gush and a Deprive as well. And then I would just finish him off next turn with ease. There's nothing in my deck I can hit that's going to kill me off a Dark Confidant here. In fact, Force of Will is the most expensive card in my deck in casting cost, possibly in other ways. So I had no issues there. And that may have been incorrect, but I believe that was it. That was 5-0. So that may have been a misplay. I probably should have just tried to finish him off right then and there. But I hate it when I can't think of what my opponent could have, and then I play too cautiously like that. Maybe a failing of mine. So that's it. I'll bring up the list one last time. And okay, there it is. Scrolling down underneath Wasteland. What you can't see, Watery Grave, Windswept Heath, and Wooded Foothills. Everything else should be on the screen. And that's it. And we're going to try again. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.